Hi traders, welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me John on this Tuesday the 17th of October. Here we have our tables in front of us. We can see that the Swiss franc still remains top as the strongest currency, and this is followed by the US dollar. Had a few changes. We can see that the New Zealand dollar is the weakest currency, pound also the second weakest, Oz the third weakest. That's the same order here on our trend traders table as well. So both tables in agreement at the moment. Kiwi Swiss could be one to watch. Obviously it tops the tables at this moment in time, which means that there's a lot of momentum with those two currencies. So we could be seeing Kiwi Swiss continue to push lower. Yesterday we talked about pound US dollar, so I'm just going to briefly go over pound US dollar and the different types of orders that we were talking about and how they would have performed, or even if they triggered or not. And we've also obviously got Aussie Swiss still here as well. So let's first of all just jump over to what's on the slate today. We did have an average earnings index out of the UK at 7 o'clock. That came in negative. We've seen the pound fall off the back of that. This afternoon at 1:30 we have core retail sales and retail sales out of the US. So we are trading cable at the moment, so cable is one to watch. Let's head straight over to cable now. This is the first sort of position we discussed yesterday. It was a potential rejection in at 121.80 with a sell stop order at 121.70. If you held that order, this is your current position in a little bit of profit at the moment. We also talked about a couple of alternative methods to get involved with this. The first being a rejection back up here at 122.15, which were these previous 4-hour highs. The reason why I liked that was because it was an area where sellers have got involved in the past, and I talk about this quite often. I like to see price revisit these areas and see if that selling pressure can continue. So if you did wait for that opportunity instead, what you could have done was initial retest at 122.15. You could have gone in at 122.05 or at least 121.90 just to avoid the 122 handle. You could have had a 40 to 50 pip stop loss. So let's say you had a 50 pip stop loss. This would be your current position now. You're about 0.6R up with a 1.3R target to the lows and a 2.75R target to that key level of support at 1.2050. We also put in an alternative method, which was an entry at 121.44. Now, depending on spread, it would have either triggered you in or not triggered you in. My spread kept me out of this move, to be honest. I didn't get triggered at 121.44, but if you did get triggered at 121.44, then this would be your sort of trade at this current moment in time. Let me just bring up the Discord actually. Yeah, your stop loss would have been 122.04. So if you did get triggered into that move, you would have been stopped out. And basically I was watching to see how price reacted to this 50 MA, and I like to see that if price can stay below the 50 MA, I expect further downside. So we did originally do that. Price then broke back to the upside and then continued to push higher, unfortunately. So if you were in the 124.44, I didn't get triggered. So if you did, then you might have to consider that was just unfortunate in terms of hitting your spread. Looking at this, you can see that the currently where price is at. So if you took the 121.70 order, which is the entry price that I'm working with at this current moment in time, 1.2050 is the target, and our stop loss is 122.30. So this is the current move going on for us. Obviously it would be nicer to have had that tighter stop loss up here, but that was towards the sort of evening time where that hit that level. So depending on where you were at that time of day, where you could have gotten an opportunity in that or not. So moving on to the other chart of interest then. So let's go take a look at Kiwi Swiss. Kiwi Swiss, an interesting market to have a little look at. You can see that obviously, actually, let me just jump up to a weekly time frame here. The weekly is is something to sort of be interested in. We're obviously in this sort of downward trend at the moment. We recently come and revisited back at this sort of resistance level around about the 0.55 handle. We did breach trendline resistance to the upside, so I was maybe expecting a bit of a move higher. But that's turned around now, and we're looking to push back to the downside. So from a weekly perspective, we could potentially see price come all the way back into 0.52, which is this supporting area down through here. If I just make that into a support point. So yeah, that's an area where price may want to come and retest from sort of a weekly perspective. If we go into the daily time frame, we've obviously had an initial push down. We're now consolidating. This is where I'm starting to get a little bit interested. So the 4-hour time frame, for instance, you can see that we're currently trading back towards these sort of lows. Now, obviously, I don't want to be short at the low there, because if I was short at the low, my stop loss has to be above this swing high here. My target down at that level. Yes, we've got the risk reward to do that. But if price comes all the way back up into this high here, which is where I would ultimately like to be short from, there's a risk of being stopped out. Instead, if I wait for price to try and come back up to this level here, I can have like an ATR stop potential, maybe even like a 40 pip stop loss in there. And I've got a higher reward to risk ratio, and a potential to get short, first exit out of the lows and second exit potentially from that area of support. So that's the kind of thing that I'm looking at there. If we go take a look at Kiwi CAD as well, I quite like the opportunity forming on Kiwi CAD. Now Kiwi CAD on the tables at the moment, CAD was actually a currency that had correlation between the two. That's kind of faded. It's kind of moved away from the trend traders at the moment. But if I do take a look at the Kiwi in isolation here, we've got this potential bearish sort of bearish channel continuation. Sorry, we came up into the bearish channel high. Could we be targeting the bearish channel low, or even the lows around about 79.50? If we are, I think that could give us maybe an opportunity. I'm watching the 4-hour at this current moment in time, because again, there's some levels of interest for us. Now, price has sort of traded through the recent 4-hour lows, so the momentum may just take price into, you know, the 0.7980, this low that formed here on the 28th of September. Or, you know, we can see potentially that there's an area up here where price may want to revisit. So I'm actually going to put an alert at 8080. If price can kind of come back to that point, I will be looking to see how price action reacts. You know, if price comes back in, do we get like an hourly double top or anything like that that suggests that we can start seeing a push to the downside there. Alternatively, you know, if the momentum is going to be to the downside here with the Kiwi, you could look to just go, you know, look for a potential short. I prefer looking to get short back at that previous high. I think it's a better alternative as an entry than looking to just try and sell this market at this current moment in time. Sticking with sort of the Kiwi theme, if we go up to Kiwi dollar, I don't really like the idea of getting short here just yet. Obviously, price came back up into the 60.50, sold off. Again, we're back at lows. So if I was to just to kind of show you, if I was to get short here, I'd have to have a stop loss above that high. The target then becomes negative in terms of risk reward ratio. It's not the ideal situation to be in. So really speaking, you know, that is the area where sellers have come in. That's the area we should be interested in. Or we need to wait for price to kind of break down and come and have a little sort of break and retest for a move to the downside. Going on to the pound then. So pound, very interesting market. Obviously, we've already discussed pound US dollar, but you can see pound Swiss, a potential market to look out for as well. I think we did discuss pound Swiss yesterday, and it is in a bit of an interesting position because it came back down into this support zone and rebounded. Ideally, I want to be short more at 1.1078, but price may have different ideas to that. What I do like on the 4-hour time frame though is we are creating a little bit of a sort of top in the market, which is around about the 1.1 handle. So you've got psychological sort of resistance level combined with current highs, which price is seeming to reject here at the moment. So if that's going to be the case, is there an opportunity to potentially see a move in and around this zone for a continuation? So I'm actually going to put an alert at one spot, one or just below it. If price can push back into that level, I'll look to see how price reacts. If we can get a short in here, first target can be this low, second target can obviously be the level below, which is all the way back over here and around this sort of 1.0550 level. So there's a big way to go on this if it can continue to the downside. So there's no rush really to jump into this one. I can see that the 50 MA on this H4 chart is currently way behind. Okay, if I go to the hourly, we're on it at the moment, but the 4 hour is way behind. So you know, there is a bit of potential for price to pull back here, I feel, before seeing that continuation to the downside. But pound is a little bit weaker today because of that data that has dropped. So yeah, just kind of all in all, I really kind of like Kiwi CAD setup here. Obviously, we've had a bit of success with Kiwi CAD in the past. I like the fact that we're trading within a sort of weekly bearish channel. That really kind of sings to me with the technicals and you know, the tables suggesting Kiwi CAD could continue lower. Obviously, we have huge support down here at 7.6 or 7,700. So I do quite like this opportunity there. What would that take though? I think we need to see CAD return back to the tables here. If I just go and show you this morning, you can see CAD was there, S3 and S2. So it's probably only sitting around about S4 at the moment on the trend traders. So there could be some scope for it to actually gain a little bit more strength, and we could see a potential move to the downside. Obviously, oil prices have been pretty good at this current moment in time, had a little bit of a rebound higher. So that could also influence a little bit of CAD strength. So yeah, I like Kiwi CAD from a technical perspective, as well as a strength meter or strength table perspective. And yeah, we've also got obviously the opportunity for Kiwi to be quite strong, so or quite weak, sorry. So I like the idea of that potentially coming into fruition. So yeah, that one and pound, I quite like the idea of continuing to look for the short there. And yeah, I'll keep you updated if there's any changes. But for me, out of all the sort of Kiwi pairs, Kiwi CAD's looking pretty good. So thanks for watching the video. Catch you in the next one.